I'm back.
I'm also back. And still John.
And still over the music.
Shh.
Shh. And we are back live. We should be live on Facebook. If you can't hear us on Facebook, let us know. And we should be live on Twitch. Everything should be going fine, hopefully. If it's not, please let us know if you have any problems. We need to know this stuff. We should be all hunky-dory and all peachy keen.
Very well.
Looks like it. Looks like pretty good. Looks like the widget, there
Do
it
we
goes.
have
Facebook
official
Live.
stuff to say? Do we have official stuff to say before we get started?
Oh, we should
with
always
our
talk about our
nonsense?
sponsors, because our sponsors are awesome, because they provide us some really cool things to give away, which we will have some stuff to give away shortly. Not today. But we will have some really cool stuff. But we will have some stuff eventually. We have our sponsors. We want to thank, of course, Muse on Minis. They are providing us some really cool things for y'all. Also, they have a discount code that if you buy anything and you use the discount code more than dice, all one word, you'll get 10% off your order, and will help us out a lot. Also, Tectonic Crest Studios. Tectonic Crest Studios. Everybody knows Dan. Dan has provided us some codes, and he is sending me some things to paint up on stream and give away to our viewers eventually.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is really cool. We all love Dan. And then Mechanica Studios, which is going to be setting up our store so we can start selling y'all things again. We have some things we're going to be selling, of course, all old widget sets that are coming in, and our measuring tools and tournament trackers and such. Plus our own personalized zones for War Machine and Hordes. Which some of them have got those.
Super legit.
Yeah, I've got a set. We actually had to change a little bit about that, but nothing big. Other than that, those are things. John, do we have anybody we need to salute before we start talking about our drinks?
Some people might. The one actress who passed, notably, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, from Charles in Charge and Soap, but I never really had any experience with her, so I'll leave that to others.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't even know that she was still alive. Not that,
I mean, I know what you mean. That sounds terrible, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. But, it sucks. Other
I
than
remember
that...
her being on Hogan's Heroes, too.
Yep.
I don't remember a lot about Hogan's Heroes. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Long time ago.
It's one of those ones you say other than that.
Kathy, can we guess that you're drinking rum today?
You could guess that.
Would we?
But you would be wrong.
Uh-oh! Let me guess. What are you going to be drinking now?
It's gin and tonic with a little bit of lime juice.
Gin and tonic with lime juice.
Gin and tonic?
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling English.
Feeling English? So, John, what are you having today?
I'm having orange juice mixed with some 43 liqueur.
Liqueur?
Yeah, it's sort of vaguely vanilla-y flavored. It gives it a nice sweet, extra sweet taste, which I like.
Extra sweet taste. I, today, am going for a beer, and it is a whiskey barrel stout.
Look at him. Look at him, Kathy. Beer.
Beer.
Oh,
Beer.
By Boulevard. It is very, very dark and very, very strong and very, very good.
Fair enough. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
So, for all of our people out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out. We appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers. That is tasty.
Yes, it is. It is very, very tasty. Kathy, what miniature are you working on before we get started? I'm curious.
I've got a few things in front of me. I have a this magic user, which I believe is a Reaper model.
Mm-hmm.
I have another one,
Very
which I know is a
stereotypical.
Reaper model.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's a
one of
Reaper.
the River Maidens, or however they're called. And this one I finally found out thanks to somebody on my Instagram for saying, "Oh, it's a Relic Blades model."
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, "Thank you," because I had no idea. I couldn't place where it was from, and I really like this model. I like the pose of it and everything. The details are cool. So Relic Blades. Relic Blade. Anyway, so that's what that's from.
Sweet.
And I have some new models to work on for work, which are also really cool. And I think these are from, I don't know, they might be Black Plague. I'm not sure 100%, but there's a jester. There's a like an executioner looking guy, and they're all zombies. So
Zombie.
Oh, likely
yeah,
Black
Zombie.
Plague then.
and then this guy is like I want to paint him like a monk. He's wearing a robe, and then this chick is kind of looks like maybe a maid or a house servant or something. She's got that sort of headgear, that maids kind of wear. And so those are the ones that are next in line. They're in the queue, waiting to be painted. But tonight I am working to finish this guy
I
and
like
this
that cloak. I
girl.
love the way a good, properly highlighted cloak comes out. They look sweet.
I started out. I actually started it out in much the same way as this one, and then I took a really dark brownish color and put it in the crevices and did some shading first before I actually went in there with my browns. And my browns were a really translucent color, which is why you can see the darks and the lights. They kind of show through. Which is kind of, I mean, that's the sort of watercolory style that I've sort of developed over the course of years.
The kind of like a glazing technique.
Yeah, yeah, tinting, glazing, just adding very translucent colors over what's called an underpainting, which is basically a value study of the darks and lights and all of the values in between. So that's what I'm working on. What are you? Oh, you've got the Guild Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really fast. That's looking really good.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
goalpost.
it's pretty much done. I just needed to do a little bit. I wanted to add this little ridge around the center to make it look like, just to give it a different
Mm-hmm.
separation from just the normal metal
I like
look.
it.
And then, of course, I got to do some cleanup on it and do a little bit of wash because there's just I'll wash into it a little bit. And then I'm going to work on one of the captains today. After this dries, I'm going to do a wash. But I did. It was pretty much all I worked on this week because there was just a little bit of time. I even got the line from the field on my goal on my
Ah,
ball. Look at that.
nice. That's so very Blood Bowl-y.
Yes. I figured that would be kind of cool to do. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do a line on every one of my guys' base just to do it.
Even like not through the middle, but around,
Yeah, I did the middle on the
the edge
ball.
on some of them, and
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
I,
it's right on the line of scrimmage, right?
yeah,
Right
that's
at
the
the
reason why I did that.
kickoff.
Yeah, that's the reason why I did that one there. Otherwise, it would be, I'm going to do it just random spots, on
Mm-hmm.
team players, just so it's there.
That's a cool idea.
I'm going to just be a little armor wash on this. So, like I said, today's a hodgepodge because we got different things we want to talk about. Nothing major, nothing huge, nothing crazy. I do want to talk about something that came out this week that is actually pretty important to all our War Machine and Hordes players. And Kathy, I know that you're not a player, but there is something you probably want to look at, which is the new Infernal models that are coming out for the new faction. They showed a bunch of the new models. They gave the basic rules of Infernals, which is a very interesting concept that they are doing gameplay wise. This army, in my opinion, If you are not a very savvy player, you will get owned with it. But if you are a very good player, you will definitely do some good stuff. It is not for the novice, in my opinion. If anybody was paying attention or watched it, they don't get focus and fury back like everybody else. They have a different thing that they do. They just have a lot of different techniques.
There's a
And
bit of a learning curve with all the little tricks and combos and things that they can do.
more than just a little, there is a huge, uh, like you, for them to get the soul power, I can't remember what they called it, the power to cast their spells and bring out demons, you have
Horrors.
to bring out the horrors, I should say, not demons, you have to sacrifice people.
Okay.
Friendly
And,
people.
yeah, your friendly models. So you have to
I'm
sacrifice
very
your friendly models.
familiar with this idea from the Chaos Alliance and Champions.
Yeah.
Self-sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrificing your own models so they can get their own stuff back, which is cool. I thought it was an interesting concept. Their thing that they were talking about is if you don't do it right, you will, or you don't have the right models, or someone kills off those models, you will be stuck without getting the focus and or the soul power. I can't remember what they called it. I apologize.
Essence.
Essence. There we go. To fuel up your army, which is good and bad. It's good because, well, that's one way to stop them. It's bad because horrors have to spend an essence to stay in the game every time it's your turn. So if they can't spend it, they just disappear.
Okay.
So it's kind of tricky. The models that they showed, some of the concepts, were really, 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 really cool. Very demon horror looking atrocities, type thing. I can't wait to see what all their stuff looks like and the rules next week. But it definitely did spark quite a bit of interest with a lot of people. So it was interesting. I'm definitely, I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I'm definitely looking forward to it because it'll be a whole new way to play and a
Hmm.
whole new way to do things. But I definitely believe that if you are not a savvy person, you most likely will lose pretty quickly if you're not smart. It's going to be a lot of management stuff, and some people, will love that part of the game. That's what they want. That's what they're gonna, go into, which is good because some people need that extra stuff. But it definitely, in my opinion, won't be an army just for the average Joe. They'll have to work. So, other than that, that was my little bit on the Infernals. We get the full rules for them, or full beta rules, CID rules, next week, or this week technically.
It's War Machine Gonzo. Pretty much all the rules are technically beta.
Yeah.
Which is good, because it means that if something's broken, it gets fixed.
Yeah.
So I've
That
set
is-
a lot
that
of
is
games
nice.
where I'm like, was this a good idea? Then I realized I'm not playtesting this game. Whether or not I think it was a good idea, it's what exists.
Yeah. And so we'll get that next week, and it'll be interesting. The reason why I said you might be interested in it, Kathy, is because some of the models are legit evil looking type thing. The horrors that they've gotten are really, really cool looking.
And so you know that, I gravitate towards all those kind of hellish nightmare monsters.
Yes. I think you would like it. I may have to send you a model to paint for me.
Ooh.
That, or you may pick it up anyway and paint it for yourself. So.
All right, Louis, fair point. Only CID is in beta. The rest is an open beta. Fair. I will concede that point to you. But I mean, it's another army, and it's going to require you to really get into that army. So if you guys are interested, it looks like your cup of tea. Be aware you're not going to be able to, half-ass your way through that. It's not going to be able to be your side game. It's going to need to be your game and what you're doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
not Crucible Guard. It's more like Grimkin.
And the thing is they this isn't one of the abilities that the masters can do is bring out any type of horror. They can summon an additional horror onto the board, and with them doing that, you have to have the model. So it could be depending on how much it is, depends on if you have to have a financial, thought into it, because that could be quite a bit of money depending on how much you want to summon in or get in or and bring in. So
But we'll know more once the CID hits and we can actually
correct,
get your hands on the rules.
correct. But that's something to think about if you're looking to get into it.
Plus, the CID will have a good mission statement of what they want to do with the models, which I really like about the CID. They always say, "This is what we're looking for. Let us know about this." So once you get that idea, you can properly judge a model. Because right now, I could say, it sounds like a gimmicky army, kind of weird. I don't know. But, it depends on what they want it to do.
Yeah. I mean, they may want it to be a gimmicky. It is going to be a limited release, just like everything else, like all the other armies that have come out recently.
By limited release means it's not going to get necessarily more models quickly.
Yeah.
Not like, you didn't buy it right away, it's gone. It's not that.
Yeah, it's limited as in, while every other faction is going to get something every year, you every faction may get 2 or 3 things a year. You may get 1 thing a year. Type thing is what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's what they're wanting to do. It helps them on whatever they need.
It is their stated goal. There is no delusions about it.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it's okay, but it's there, so you can plan for that appropriately.
Yeah, they definitely have said this is all limited factions from here on out.
But also, be fair, everyone who's going like, this new guy isn't doing anything, keep in mind, he doesn't have his hand in yet. He just started.
Correct.
This is all stuff that's planned. So you will start seeing what kind of ideas he brings to the table. I would say, end of this year, next year kind of thing. You'll really start to see some of his handling of stuff. And that'll be interesting.
I mean, I fully expect that if you wait by December, you might be able to pick up a
An army for cheap on eBay.
used horror army pretty cheap, just like they did Grimkin, because some people just can't handle it. But I like it. It's interesting. It's different. It's a new way to play. It's a new way to deal things. So, which is good.
It brings up something I'm not sure I want to talk about, but it actually is, I think, an unexpected downside to War Machine and Hordes.
Okay, go for it.
Between CID and what the stuff they're bringing out is, like I said, this can't be your second game.
If you're looking to be
have
competitive
to play
with it
as your main game.
yeah,
Gonzo, it only plays competitively.
I understand. Some people, that's what it has to be.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying that's a downside.
No.
It's an unexpected consequence of all the choices they've consciously made. It is going to hurt them a little bit sales wise, because it seems like the age now, and this is a bigger topic, it's the age of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's people who play only one game.
Yeah, there are.
Mm-hmm.
Most everyone plays 2 or 3. You could play up to. We made our lists of games we were kind of interested in, and we easily got to like a dozen or more.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Because you don't have that kind of time. No one.
Or that
no one
kind of
has
money
that.
sometimes.
True.
Mm-hmm. So making a game that you can't play as a side game. Infinity has the same problem. Infinity is very rules intensive. It is very, very difficult to try and play it as a side game.
Correct.
You can, but if you run into a guy who plays it all the time, you're not going to win.
You're gonna get
unless
old.
you just straight out dice it.
Yeah.
Which can happen, but it's interesting. It's an interesting thought of what's going on with games nowadays, and something you need to be aware of when you're picking games. You don't want to pick one accidentally that is like, oh, this is not a side game, which is sort of the problem with Kickstarter games too. Someone comes out with a Kickstarter miniature game, they're going to have a final gameplay before you can really make a conscious decision. Because if it comes out and it's a bit more intensive than you want, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
So, interesting. Keep an eye on the games. Try and get good gameplay videos of games before you get into them. Because that way you can come into them fully aware of what they're going to require.
That's kind of another reason why I'm picking up and playing a lot of these smaller games. Not being competitive with War Machine Hordes anymore. I still play local stuff, nothing, major. But I can be semi-locally competitive because everything works fine. But I won't be nationally competitive or try to do any of that stuff. Not like I was to begin with. I'm just not pushing myself to do that anymore.
I don't know. I believe you made it to the.
I did
made it into the War Machine weekend. You made it to the qualifier.
I made it to the Invitational. I did.
Yeah. I mean, that was your goal. You made
That
it.
was.
I think you're good enough.
Yeah.
Made it well enough for what I wanted, and I was happy with where I was. But there is all these little small games that I've been playing. Like Mompoc, I can pick up and play, no problem. I ain't got any problem with it. It's quick, it's easy, not competitive in my nature. I don't care. I just go around and bust through buildings and destroy things and have a good time. And then, like Guild Ball. I can play Guild Ball. Guild Ball to me, I'm not looking to get super competitive with it. Just want to kick some things around and beat some people up every so often. Do that. A couple other small games. I do play 40K, but I'm playing in a league right now. So I'm not looking to go into any tournaments. Not looking to have super awesome competitive lists. Just kind of having fun. Just kind of chilling with my games for a bit. I'm not allowed to do that. Are you talking to Jim?
Oh, I just grabbed a hot cup of tea and I went, ow.
Oh.
That was me like, ow.
Oh, is that like you were going?
Breath.
No. JC Rod 7776 says, "Hey, Kathy."
Hey, Rod. Hey. JC, I'll pretend like I know who you are because I probably do, but I don't know your code name.
Codename makes it sound so awesome, doesn't it?
Code
Right?
names.
That's how I feel about all these things. Like, there's people who come on my stream on Monday or Thursday, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Kathy," and
Hey, Ronald.
like I know them, but I don't recognize their secret code name. And
So
they're
let me throw some industry knowledge on you, Kathy.
yeah.
Yeah, nowadays you call people by their first name. Like I work on the phones all day, little peek behind, and we generally call people by their first name. Unless something pops up where that doesn't seem appropriate, but someone calls up, call, "Hey Jim, how you doing?" When they introduce themselves. So I mean, that's just sort of how it is nowadays. It just seems weird to us older folks who are a lot of,
Mr. So-and-so.
Mr., Sir, Ma'am, which you'll default to. But that's sort of the way nowadays.
Oh, I don't expect. I don't expect that, but
Hello, Mrs. Wapple. How are you doing? That would be odd, wouldn't it?
that would be very odd. And also, it makes me feel like I'm 80 years old when people say that.
That's why I try to avoid it. Everyone think they're young and happy.
Oh, it's like
Unless someone's got a title they put, like especially they will put the
Okay.
title in there. They put doctor in there. I'm calling them doctor or whatever because they're obviously very proud of that title, and I'll give that to them.
JC Rye goes, I met you on Schmidt's stream for Champions.
oh,
Right
sweet.
on. Right on.
Which we might have some pretty cool news about Champions.
We do.
We just can't talk about it yet because we haven't
We
gotten
just
everything
can't
yet.
talk about it yet.
We do have some
It's like
interesting.
Fight Club right now.
Yeah, Fight Club. We're Fight Club and Champions.
I want to check my emails right now
'Cause
while we're podcasting.
Oh my God,
Check
that's
your
crazy
emails because
talk.
if we got the email, we can talk about it.
I would never check email and Twitter or anything on podcasting. That's crazy talk.
What? You would never do that?
Never.
I would type PFFT exclamation point.
So other topics to get away from the War Machine Hordes and stuff and that, and somewhat related potentially. WizKids just announced that they have a deal with Hasbro to make G.I. Joe, Transformers, and My Little Pony models.
What?
We don't know how they're going to make them.
I don't know, but G.I. Joe, My Little Ponies sounds like it could be a whole new industry.
Well, so someone joked like that's a Megaverse card game or miniatures game I want to play, and I'm like that they're going to be separate, dog.
Like Pony G.I. Joes
Yep.
would be awesome.
Pony G.I. Joe.
So my first thought is, and the first response I had to one of my old friends who mentioned it was that I threw up a little bit in my mouth because I'm going to say this straight up. I don't fucking like Hero Clicks. Like any of the clicks, WizKids can die in a fire because those are shit models. And they put up shit models for fucking a decade, and people love them. And God bless you guys. I'm glad you're enjoying them. I am not angry that you enjoy something I don't. I just don't like them at all. In fact, they are sometimes worse than not having any models for a hero. Because like, oh look, I got a Thor model, and it's fuck awful. But that's almost more of a board game thing where the model is just sort of an extra thing. So that's not terrible. It's just, kind of odd. But then my second thing I thought was, well, they make those D&D models and Pathfinder models or whatever. And those are pretty solid quality nowadays.
Oh, the pre-primed ones?
Yeah, the pre-primed. So maybe there's something cool there. So I have to amend. You keep an open mind on that. See what they do. I mean, I joked with somebody earlier about a Transformers miniatures game. Why not? Because you get to build the robot and you get to build the alt mode, and then you get to battle and transform and swap models out and stuff. That could be super fun. I mean, I don't know if they're making a game, just models, but it'd be interesting to see. In my heart, I feel like they would do G.I. Joe and Transformers as clicks, and and My Little Pony as regular models. I don't seem like they would do it a click. Ponies don't battle. It's friendship is magic, for fuck's sake. But it interesting to see. It is good. It is good. Good news to come out and see what they're going to do with that. And then Chase Rod says, painting a Snake Eyes or a Storm Shadow mini would my dream come true. I agree, even though they're pretty easy because they're black or white. So, I mean...
Now, if it was a Zartan...
I mean, is it every model a Zartan model?
Yeah, in my head.
And every human-sized model could be a Zartan. See this model right here?
Zartan.
Could be Zartan.
This guy right here...
This one? I mean,
no, I'm
Zartan's
sorry.
got skills. It could be Zartan.
Zartan.
Too long of a beard right here.
No, he can have a beard. Zartan.
No. Nope. Disagree.
I want to see the Destro pony, huh? My Little Destro. Mm-hmm. There's actually a picture I saw on DeviantArt that's My Little Ravage, and it's Ravage made in sort of like My Little Pony style. And it said, friendship is more than meets the eye.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, interesting to see that. Cool news to come out. I mean, new clicks do make me throw up a little bit in my mouth. Sort of like Star Trek Attack Wing. Holy crap. No offense, but those models are... They have some occasional really good ones, but the majority of those are just terabad. No actual fucks given about scale at all. And I don't care about scale to the nth degree, but I care a little bit. I care enough for you guys to try and get them close.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not get them close. So that game immediately went... I'm like, they just borrowed the X-Wing rules that are same as the Wings of Glory rules and all that, and made it Star Trek, and it actually plays a little better than X-Wing did, because you never had that stalemate in the middle of the game. They gave everything more hit points and less ways to dodge damage, so it didn't stalemate in the middle of the board sometimes like it does with high agility ships. But I just couldn't get past the fact that the models were completely out of scale and not good. And their newer models are better paints, but the same scale. So I'm like, yeah, near miss, guys. Sorry. You almost had a line to my pocketbook, but no. Sorry. Out of here. I'll stay with X-Wing. Those models are solid. And, I mean, to be fair, Lucasfilm cares a lot more than Paramount or whoever has a license for that particular branch of the Star Trek does about models
Yeah.
and miniatures. So that's always good.
Which, talking about remakes and stuff and redos and stuff like that, everybody loves Sandlot, right?
I like it.
I've never seen The Sandlot.
Oh, it's a great,
Oh,
great classic.
It's good to at least watch once.
The first one.
Little old for it.
Um,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It-
Jason, the USS Tiny Prize. Tiny. God.
well, they are now remaking Sandlot as a streaming service with the original people,
Original cast?
the original cast. I guess it's going to be Sandlot: The Next Generation. I have no clue what they're calling it, but
No, it's not a remake. That's called a sequel.
but the thing is, they've already had a sequel. They had like 3 sequels. They all sucked.
I never saw any of the sequels, and I've only seen Sandlot one time.
You don't want to
I
see any of the
enjoyed it.
sequels. Sandlot 1 was amazing.
Much like Highlander.
Yeah. Sandlot, the original, was a great kids movie. Had great lines that are still used today. You know, good story, good kids summer movie type thing. But there was no reason to make another one. But they did anyway. And now they're turning it into a TV series. Which I'm just like, what? No. Leave it alone. Leave it where it's at. It's perfectly fine. But no, they're going to be turning that into a TV series.
Money. They're gonna be turning it into money.
Yes, that's pretty much what it is.
So, on a since I've gotten all the negativity out of my system, apparently, on a brighter side of that is, I don't know if y'all remember the sequel series to Leave It to Beaver.
Nope.
Disney
yes.
Channel had on.
Yes.
That was actually a good series. Had all the remaining living actors and added kids for.
Well, those only living actors, not the dead ones walking
okay.
around.
They didn't break out the dad. He was unfortunately.
Although.
But so that was an interesting series. It was enjoyable at the time. So there is potential for this to be an interesting series, but I mean, just give it a chance if that's your thing. Though I think honestly we're missing the intended age group. They're hoping to get a couple people who saw The Sandlot when it first came out to maybe jump in, and then probably try and get new people into it.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen the original Sandlot, you really need to, John. That's something on your bucket list now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's really not.
It is. I'm putting it on there.
So, Gonzo, movies about kids that you didn't see when you were a kid do not ever hold up.
This one was pretty
Ever.
good, though. Never.
Yeah, they just don't. I mean, it's just the reality of that, and it's fine. I understand the basic taglines and the premise. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. At that point, I was either working like a dog or running my own business and didn't have a time to watch it, so I didn't see it, and the time has passed. It's the same with shitty movies. You know? People love Excalibur. You know the movie Excalibur?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Never seen it. Had a copy on VHS. Way after it came out, tried to watch part of it, was like, this is fuck awful. Because after Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's fuck awful. At the time, I'm sure it was really, really enjoyable, but you can't go back to something like that.
Maybe that's why I like Beastmaster and you don't.
Yes. I mean, I saw Beastmaster when it first came out. I remember kind of enjoying it, but shocker, we had a contender to try and kick it off the list of worst movies I've seen this year. Spoiler later to see if it actually happens or not.
Ooh.
Flash Gordon holds up because it wasn't trying to be anything more than what it was. It's like, we know what we're aiming for. We're hitting the mark of, exactly where they're going for.
Campy sci-fi.
What's that?
Campy sci-fi.
Campy sci-fi, exactly. And some of these movies, like Excalibur's not trying to be campy fantasy, so it is now. I mean, it's just like B-movie. sort of like Beastmaster, where it's like it's aiming for real fantasy, not campy fantasy. Thus, it doesn't hold up as much. Also, because I didn't see it. If you don't have that nostalgia connection to something, it actually helps you. It's why people who never played some of these old, like Necromunda, are like, Necromunda, who the fuck cares? Like, if you didn't play it back then, you don't have any nostalgia connection. You can judge it purely for what it is. But when we start judging it, we have nostalgia connections, and nostalgia is a son of a bitch.
Yep.
It will make you like things that you probably don't actually like because of your connection to it.
Casablanca too. I'm sorry, I just saw that in the chat. Crimson.
No, they're just going to remake Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it's in black and white, I'd give it a shot.
It won't be.
No, it would not be.
Be in Technicolor.
In Technicolor. You can't get Casablanca in color. There are rules.
It'll be in 3D. You know I'm not lying, too. If they do it, they'll do it in 3D so you can see
3D's done. 3D is a gimmick they're not using that much anymore, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That shit gave me headaches. And anybody who had glasses,
Oh,
who
yeah.
had to wear those goggles over their glasses, it's shitty.
Yep. 100% crappy.
Yeah, so one other subtopic we got, Xanderboard says, what's your favorite palate cleanser game or games?
Ooh. Palette cleanser games.
Zombicide, the original Zombicide. I love that one, and I will always go back to it. It's easy. I mean, my friends and I all know what the characters do. We all know the mechanics. The mechanics are less complex than some of the other expansions for it. So, if we want a no-brainer kind of game, we'll go to Zombicide and just do a cooperative. You know, you don't have to be competitive about it. I mean, it's a long one as far as, you know, a palate cleanser, I guess, but...
Yeah, but sometimes you need just something that's just... And I don't want to say mind-numbing, but that's kind of the best way to put it. Just a mind-numbing...
comfortable and simple. Something you don't need to, you know, use maximum brain power to wrap your head around.
Yeah, you don't have to keep looking things up in the rule book.
Correct.
Yeah.
Autopilot.
Yeah, you want to play it on auto... You can play it somewhat on autopilot, yeah. Something like Settlers of Catan.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we've all played Settlers of Catan, more or less.
Yep.
Settlers of Catan is enjoyable. Is it a great game? Probably not. But it is a great palate cleanser and simple to play, and just a hoot.
A hoot.
Yep, it's fun.
Cheap for
I'll
wood.
agree with that.
Great and cheap for wood. What do you got, guys? Any other palate cleansers out there?
Good old-fashioned just quick card games. Anything that's just quick and easy card game. Like I could play... like right now, I can play Keyforge because it's just quick and easy. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to worry about building a deck.
I'm over here thinking of cribbage. You know, you're like, yeah, Hearts? Just, you know, the old card game. Yeah, like Hearts or cribbage or something.
I haven't played Hearts forever.
Even War, if you're like between games and you're waiting for the next guys to finish their long ass game of Firefly so that you can all play Zombicide. Mm-hmm. And you know they've only got 15 minutes left, so you just whip out a deck of cards and play War.
Any of those simple two-person games. Something I like Star Realms. Good two-player game of Star Realms is super quick and fun because there's no table diplomacy, no being nice. You and him, and you just crush each other's souls.
I've never played that. I've never heard of it.
Star Realms?
Yeah.
It's a deck builder. It's super fun.
Okay.
It's there's technically a free app for it, but you can only play limited stuff against the basic deck against the computer. But that's pretty fun.
Trying to remember what the game was that my friend brought to our game day last Saturday. Is it possible of course I don't have that written down. Okay, so I don't remember. Sorry.
But something like Nuts or Pooh or Kittens in a Blender, any of those simple games. JC Rod said Sushi Go.
Yep, Sushi Go's another one.
Game, but still good. Simple. I mean, there's not really any. It's hard to get a miniature game palate cleanser.
Oh, they're long and involved. I mean, even if it was Blood Bowl, where I know well,
Used to know the rules.
I pretty much know the basics of it backward and forward. It's still a long game,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a
and
lot of
it's
stuff
only
to
two
tear down,
people.
but yeah.
It's not
It's like
like you can have six people sitting there watching or playing together.
and even if you take the most harshest time turns, it's still going to take a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the game that we were playing last week, it was all dice and cards, and it was called King of Thieves.
Hmm.
And it was, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. Easy to pick up as far as learning the mechanics. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm not saying that just because I won.
I
It's
think
fun.
Kathy can agree with me on this. Diablo.
Oh yeah,
You could just pick
yeah.
up Diablo and just beat the crap out of things, and you're just like it's like it's not mind numbing. It's just you're turning off everything and you're just smashing.
Yeah, yeah.
At that point,
just there to kill things, kill monsters.
yeah, any of those you know looting killer games is pretty good for that.
Yeah, just to turn off and just like not pay attention. Which
Yeah.
comes to the topic because we're talking about that, and like I said, I was playing Neverwinter, and that's what it kind of came down to. The story wasn't really, didn't care about the story much. I'm just beating up things, trying out cool abilities, doing things, and it's kind of bad because it started getting me nostalgic to want to play another good, solid MMO. But there, in my opinion, isn't a good, solid MMO for me right now. I can't stand WoW.
Damn, I was going to throw that zinger, but you out-zingered me.
Yeah, I can't stand WoW anymore. And I really miss getting together with a bunch of friends, and we all get together and go, hey, let's go do XYZ, or let's go kill XY, W dungeon, or that stuff, and that just doesn't happen anymore. There's another MMO coming out that I'm looking forward to playing that I've already bought into because it was a Kickstarter, and I'm looking forward to it. Just gotta wait for it to come out.
Yep. So yeah, any of those quick and easy games is actually a really good palate cleanser.
Woo! Sorry, a little strong.
So apparently, Banyan misses Dark Ages of Camelot and EverQuest.
Oh, I miss Dark Ages Camelot.
I
used to play the hell out of some Dark Ages. I had a Lurking Assassin. Oh, I got so much trouble with that character.
You know what I used to love is the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Oh yeah.
I could roll up characters and play that over and over again.
Let yourself die. All the time.
You could do that with a role-playing game, but that requires a lot of people. But if you do, there's...
Oh, I'm talking about the EA Games PC.
Oh, there's an EA Games version?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But no, it does bring up a good point that we don't really live in the age of simple dungeons like that for a role-playing game. They all want to make them more role-play, which is good because it's a role-playing game, but bad because sort of the history of D&D is... simple dungeons. Keep on the Borderlands.
Sometimes, yeah.
Make some characters. Let's go do some. Keep in the Borderlands.
Slash and kill, collect treasure.
Yeah, it's the live action. We did that for an entire. We did technically that for an entire 4th edition campaign. Went through all their pre-made adventures, mostly slash and kill, but as pretty experienced role players, we did insert some role playing here or there. There were some good moments.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those games aren't made for that, and you have to sort of think outside the box to make that work. Which just sort of denies the idea at that point of a palate cleanser game.
Well, yeah. Well, I wanted to go back because Banyan was talking about it. I remember playing so many hours, and usually I play solo because I play a lot and I can stay up late, and my body just lets me do that, and so it's always been hard for me to find people that I can play with. But I would play a Lurking Thief and go around and just solo hunting PvP, and I had the greatest time with it. Now I get some friends together, we go hunting and doing whatever. I had a great time with that. But there's getting those people to do that. That's the problem. Is nowadays it's really really hard to get people to do that. And get things going. Like I said, I've got another one that coming out that I want to play, and I really want to get back to the old school of living in the world and not just playing in the world. And I know you're like, oh, well, what? Well, the thing is this new game coming out that I want to play. You have your own house, you do your own farming, you do your own stuff. You're not just farming for
Murder
loot.
hobos?
Yeah, you're not just murder hobo.
Yes.
Your character is living in the world and doing things, and I miss that a lot. I mean, I'm an old school Ultima Online player, and you lived in the world. You had people that would do dungeon crawls. The wizard group. There was a group of people that had the wizard tower, and they would take newbies out on dungeon runs, and they would kill everything, but let the newbies pick up the loot. It was like a leveling party thing, and it was really really fun. They just
So
were. I think there's a lot of
that's
community missing out of MMOs nowadays.
what we're having fun with in my D&D, and this isn't about PC games or anything. Uh, as my co-hosts know, my D&D group we all started as less than first level children,
Mm-hmm.
and we live in a village, and we interact with this village and the people in it. All of our characters have parents or guardians or somebody, in a place where we live, and the surrounding areas is something that we're gradually exploring. And it really is you go home, you do your chores, you do this, you do that, you're training for your your eventual specialties and classes and everything. And it's like you say, you're living in the world right there. You're interacting with more than just hack and slash, collect treasure.
Correct. And I miss that with it because, like I said, going back to playing that game, I'm like, I miss MMOs where I did something besides collect loot. And this is not dogging anybody that does. I mean, this is just I miss where I'd get together with a bunch of my friends and you actually role played on the server. Your characters actually had a role playing persona. We had a band of thieves. This is back in Ultima Online, where everybody could look and have the same name. And so we had a group of thieves, me and my friends, and this is back before you had Discord server, so you could talk to each other. You used Instant Messenger from AIM, and we would communicate with that. And we had a group of thieves that were all named Bob, the Cult of Bob. And all of our characters looked exactly the same. All of our characters had the same skills. And we went around as a thieving group and went around stealing everything from everybody. And that's all we did. And it was one of the most fun times I've ever had. And of course, there is that nostalgia going into it. But you don't see that in games anymore. You don't see that in MMOs. It's all about the loot. It's all about getting, the next big gear and the next big thing. But that's what people want most of the time. But I'm looking forward to this new game because there is that coming up of where you can have a house and you can build your own, stuff to it. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm hopefully it's going to be cool. I did pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, PvP. The one thing I remember more than anything about Ultima Online was the PvP, because it was open world PvP and everybody could attack everybody. But it had a really good system for it, so you couldn't just get away with, killing somebody. I mean, there was a thing, if you wanted to be a murderer, sure, you can be a murderer, but now you've got to watch your back for a long time because you got to work off that murderer status. And there were many times you'd be working that murderer status off, and you'd have to be nervous going anywhere because everybody could kill you and take all your shit. Because the items you wore dropped when you died. And so you would have nothing at the end of the day. Which is also one of the problems with MMOs now, is everything's super rare and super great. And so you couldn't do full drop PvP with current MMOs. Because gear is too hard to get and gear is too hard to do. But
it'd be called EVE Online.
Oh yeah. But with UO you could, because if you needed another +1 sword or whatever, you just went and made it because you spent your blacksmith time doing it. I mean, I remember there was a guy that his entire job was to be a merchant. And nobody ever attacked this guy. Ever. Even the murderers. When he was around, everybody stopped because this guy was selling the best gear online and everybody liked him. And if somebody was a noob and they tried to, everybody turned around and just hunted that guy down because he provided a service to the area and to the community, and everybody looked after him. So, sorry, my small little rant on MMOs and what I miss about them. Horizons? Oh yeah, I remember Horizons. There's a plenty of games that I really liked. Neverwinter has been it's just getting me nostalgic for playing some good MMOs again. And I really can't wait for another good one. WoW just isn't there. It's just a farm fest now. But it's also getting people together to play those MMOs. That's the kicker nowadays. Sorry. All right, rant off. Go ahead, John. You're next.
I already ranted.
You got to rant some more then.
Don't look at me. I'm not ranting.
Yeah, that's all I got for that. I don't really have too much in the way. I mean, any first-person shooter put on easy mode is a great palate cleanser.
I can't do a first-person shooter. They give me a headache.
Fair enough. I think Banyan occasionally gets those too. Though we were playing some Borderlands 2 together, which was kind of fun. But anyways, yeah, so that's that. What other topics we got to talk about? We got another,
9 minutes, 10 minutes?
5-8 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. We got a little bit of time. John, how did your league end, by the way?
I don't have the results yet because I haven't tallied up the sheets, but we're giving out prizes next week, or this Friday coming up. But we have quite a few people on the last day. We had about 8 people on the last day. 13 was our total, but still pretty good. I know life gets in the way here or there, so.
How about you send me your Age of Sigmar league thing? Because in May they're wanting to do one local, and they asked me if I'd do something with that. I was like, I know who the person to ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to make a couple changes based off their opinions and all that. And I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me so I can add that in there because my local store owner was like, hey, can you do something in May for Age of Sigmar? I'm like, yeah, I'm more than happy. I like playing Age of Sigmar. It's fun. I got my entire army.
This is to encourage people to, learn the game. It's great for new players.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have to, like I said, I'm not too worried about it on the aspect of slow grow, because I think we'll just lower the points, because there'll be some people just starting. 1,000 points to me is not a bad place to start.
So actually, I think I'm going to do some changes based off what I learned. I think actually 750 is a good place to start. We started at 5. It seemed a little low. But also the way inherently in the game rules, you've got those, 1,000, 2,000, and then 2,500.
Yeah.
And then you can do plus or minus 250 to it. That gives you a good amount of play in points for a league.
Well, I mean, I also need to check to see who's all got armies, because if everybody's got armies and has got enough, and we're not looking as a slow grow, we're just looking as, trying to get people to play. There's no reason to do a slow grow if we don't have people, we don't have anybody that's wanting to do that, you know what I'm saying?
It also depends on how they're playing. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
good slow grow. Slow grows are good because it still teaches people how to use units.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
I mean,
without they can focus on a unit because there's a lot less on the table.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to look to see what we've got, and who we've got.
Yeah, but also that to you. That's no worries.
Yeah. So I think that'll be because yours is also objective based, where it's not
Mhm.
just
No,
about kicking the
it's
shit out of
very
each other.
objective based. Do this, do this, do this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll modify it towards my group once I start looking at it, because that was the thing that we're trying to get, where people are playing different games and doing different things, but besides just picking stuff up, there's a lot of people that just don't want to just bring, because everybody's got a ton of armies. I mean, we've all got, a War Machine and Horde army. Everybody's got a 40k army. And not everybody wants to cart all those armies around with them everywhere they go. Or every
Yeah,
Monday
it's
and
easier to
every
get some
Thursday.
organization going.
Correct. And that's what we're looking at, is getting some organization going. Well, I know I'm going to be playing, besides setting up a game, we can go, Monday I know I'm playing 40k, just got to bring my 40k stuff.
Also, it's a good idea for the store to go, this is the quote-unquote day for this game.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't play other games, but you should give those games priority so people can start to go like, I know when to find other players.
Yeah.
It will help a lot.
A lot.
Like,
Although we got
I'm
most
like
everybody.
go ahead.
I said most everybody knows each other, and most everybody's like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring this up." Okay, cool. Because one thing I wouldn't mind doing is like another Lord of the Rings one too.
But getting people in on certain nights also helps to break up the cliques.
Correct.
Cliques will form. It's human nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't break up the cliques and all that.
Ah,
Encourage you a little to play other things. I don't know why my nose has suddenly become stuffy. I've been good all day, but
it's all the cocaine.
no, I didn't have any cocaine. It would have made that last movie more enjoyable.
Which, how are we on time? Are we ready for media section?
We got a couple minutes left. Anyone's got something we want to throw out there real quick?
All right, go for it.
I don't.
No, you're supposed to have something. You're like the man on this. I'm just like putting mud on the bottom of my bases. Come on, get with the program, man.
I mean, how many ideas do I have to have? Come on, Gonzo.
All the ideas.
What man?
Sounds
work
like
out
it's
rules for 40k slow grow, and then a Legion slow grow. I don't know which I'm going to run next because honestly, as we get into summer movie season, I'm going to want my Fridays free to see movies because holy crap, there are going to be a ton of them.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know when I'm seeing Captain Marvel. It might have to be alone because I'm not going to have time Friday. I'm going to give out prizes. And I'm not going to opening weekend Friday after 7. No, that's not going to happen. I see that ending in pain.
and lots of pain.
Yeah, but so maybe Sunday morning or something like that. We shall see.
Yeah, I need to see
But
that.
yeah, the summer movie season is going to be crazy. We're just getting a taste of some good stuff now. It's going to start in either early May or late April, and it's going to roll every week. Like, I think I looked at it, and there is almost no week that I don't want to see a movie.
So why don't you talk about that, and I'll switch it over to the media section. That way you
yeah.
can lead.
What are the shows you're looking most forward to this summer?
Give me a second.
I mean, obviously, Avengers Endgame. I
You
don't have to be
and
the biggest fan of.
everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to be the biggest fan of Infinity War to want to see Endgame. Still spend all this time with these characters, want to see where it ends up. Just a ton. I mean, John Wick 3.
Oh yeah.
I already have the day off for that. Gonzo, your camera went squeaky again.
Yeah, I have to actually click it into it to switch it to the source.
But yeah, so yeah, we have the day off for John Wick because that's a holiday locally. We're all going to take on
Local holiday.
day. Well, yeah, so the Sunday before that I won't be on because I have to fly down to Tennessee to work.
Ooh.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I get back about 10 o'clock p.m. Wednesday. have to show up at work on Thursday for at least a little bit, and then have Friday off for the movie. It's gonna be a hell of a week. We'll see. So yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, honestly, just look at the schedule. It's just packed of movies. Every day, every one is like, someone's like, oh, this comes out this week. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, and oh shit, that one too. But I have 3 movies this week, Gonzo.
Let's see. I don't have a lot of movies. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things to talk about. Wow.
Huh.
What was that?
I have one,
One.
which is par for the course for me.
Let me go.
I guess you talked about Big Mouth on the pre-ramble, didn't you?
Only to you before the pre-ramble technically started.
Oh,
So
yeah.
2 things.
It was like a pre-ramble while you and I were waiting for Gonzo to
Oh, yes.
troubleshoot the
To
camera.
fix everything. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties before everything started.
So don't you have 2? Don't you have pre-ramble and more of the Expanse?
I do have more of the Expanse, yeah.
There you go.
So I guess I need to go first then.
Usually.
Okay. Let's go. Last week. That's weird. The Facebook stuff isn't showing up again. Last week I was talking about the Orville. And how I was not very happy with what it was going on and how it was happening. And today, or this week, I watched the newest episode, which was a 2-parter. And I understand the reason why I haven't been enjoying the Orville as much. And it's because it's taken too much of a serious note for me. It's not as funny and hasn't been cracking the jokes as much because
It's no longer as much of a parody of
Correct.
Star Trek.
It's more becoming
yeah.
a new Star Trek series almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It took itself serious with these last 2 episodes, which was okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I enjoy the new Star Trek series to be my Star Trek series, not the new
I don't
Orville.
because I can't watch it, so
Correct. But I think that's what the problem I'm having with the show is I want stupid, idiotic comedy, and the Orville isn't doing that. They're doing more serious tones to their show, which they can. They can't tell them they can't, but it's just not what I'm looking forward in. I don't want to see another serious Star Trek because I have Star Trek Discovery. And so this episode, it was a serious one, and I was like, okay, it was cool, but I want my stupid stuff back.
So, to be fair though, Gonzo, for you don't want that, but a lot of people don't have Discovery because they're not going to pay the money that they want for that.
Of course.
So it is interesting that they have sort of evolved to fill, if you will, that niche that needed to be filled.
Yeah, and the couple episodes I've seen of the Orville, I actually enjoyed it because I liked their interaction with the aliens, like when they discover a new planet or whatever. It seems to me that it's more in the vein of original Trek.
Yes.
Like they're exploring and discovering and relating to these new alien races. And I liked how they were handling it more than I've liked how they did it on the last few series of Star Trek.
Like I says, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I'm not no.
Right.
I want my stupid porn jokes, fart jokes, all that stuff that I'm used to, and they're just not doing it. And
well, then you're just gonna have to keep watching Big Mouth.
I've already watched it. I'm waiting for the new season.
So basically, what happened is they set the rules, and now they have changed the rules on you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they may be doing more and different. We gotta wait for the rest of the episodes and the rest of the season to see how it's going. But for the most part, I'm just kind of like, meh. So, I'll give it to the rest of the season. But if it continues to be more of a serious show, I probably won't watch it as much.
Fair enough.
So
I mean, that happens in movies too, where a sequel comes out and it changes, and in trying to outdo itself, it changes sort of the rules it's following, and then you're like, this is not what I wanted because you hit the mark I wanted the first time, and now we're not there.
yeah,
But also, to be fair, Gonzo, most series go through a sophomore slump.
yeah,
The only notable exceptions to that I know of would be something like The Expanse and Babylon 5 from a sci-fi standpoint.
yeah.
But even Next Gen had, like, Season 2 was...
Oh, yeah.
It was. It was not. It's not good.
Yeah.
Had some good stuff here and there, but overall, it was not their best work.
No. So I'll just wait and see. Not worried about it. I'm not writing it off or anything, but it definitely is not on my high list of watch now.
Gotcha. So, my first is a Netflix movie called Polar, based on a comic book.
I still haven't watched that. Still on my queue.
Uh-huh.
I've heard I should just delete it off my queue too.
I don't know about that, but... So you put it in a queue because you're like, this looks like a sort of John Wicky style movie, and it's got Mads Mikkelsen, and everyone loves Mads Mikkelsen,
I love him. He's awesome. He's amazing.
Yeah, so
Especially as
he
Hannibal.
is the best part of this movie, but it's still not good enough.
I heard that too.
It has some good parts, but it is basically like John Wicky style, but also batshit crazy comic book, and definitely like, oh, we can do R stuff on Netflix. Well, let's just lean fully into this R. And it was like distasteful at points.
Like gratuitous, rated R. Is it like that anime that Gonzo was talking about?
A little bit. I mean, it is maybe Johnny Knoxville's best movie role.
That's not saying much though.
No, it's not. But he wasn't. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do, and it was fine. I didn't hate him in most of his other movie roles that I've seen, which are The Last Stand and Walking Tall. But it was okay. I mean, the action was okay. It is really kind of slow through the first part of it. It's got two plots going on at once that are only tangentially connected till towards the end, when they fully connect, and it actually becomes kind of torture porny at point.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it is not a good movie. I do not suggest it. It's like 3.5 space herpes.
Oh,
It's not
bad.
great. There's something there to be seen for it. I mean, watching Mads Mikkelsen is enjoyable. Seeing the overall story is interesting, but it just misses the mark completely. If they took one of the plots out of the movie, I think it could have had a much tighter, hour and a half, enjoyable, rated R, fairly graphic thing. You could have forgiven it more, but it got just distasteful, and that's saying something from someone who, watches,
Everything.
the church scene from freaking Kingsman. It's like, that's pretty cool.
That was actually really cool.
So 3.5 space herpes. I would avoid it.
Was Miller's Crossing that one Coen Brothers movie from a long time ago? Am I thinking of the right movie?
No clue.
Miller's Crossing is it's a mafia movie starring it is Coen Brothers, yes. It's Gabriel Byrne, John Turturro,
I never did actually see it. Maybe
Albert Finney, who just died a week or two ago. I haven't seen it either, but I do tend to like those movies, so it's sort of on my list. Even though I apparently have not seen a lot of Coen Brothers movies.
Fargo?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Let's see.
Do we still have that Patreon level where somebody can subscribe and ask us to all three of us watch a movie and then talk about it on the next episode?
It's there, but nobody has done it.
Let's see. I've seen Raising Arizona, Hold on. No Country for Old Men
Mm-hmm.
I still need to see that.
and the first part of the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That's all I've seen of theirs. So,
I didn't know that was theirs.
yep. I have not seen any of the other ones, including The Big Lebowski or whatever. I don't actually care.
I tried watching The Big Lebowski years ago. I may have to try watching it again, but I wasn't.
At this point, I think
It
it's
didn't grab
overrated, and you
me.
need to see it with
Yeah.
someone who really enjoys it to sort of get that vibe from them. But in any case, Kathy, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about The Expanse or Big Mouth?
Well, I did watch. I did watch a few more episodes of The Expanse the other night, and so we finished the first season, and we watched the first episode of the second season, and we're still enjoying it just as much as we did when we first started. I've heard other people say that there's some part of the first season that maybe slowed down a little bit, but I completely disagree. I felt like every character mattered. I cared about what was going on with all the characters, even the ones that seemed like they were evil, and then maybe you find out that they have a softer side, but maybe it's not a softer side. Maybe they're only expressing that side because they want you to think they're softer.
Or maybe they're actually just complicated people.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
That never happens.
Soon you will get. I mean, you saw the Donager fight, but you haven't seen the best space battle. Let's say on TV, probably ever.
Ooh.
No offense to people who love Deep Space Nine. Some of those space battles are awesome, but they're not really internally consistent. They're more there for the spectacle, which is cool. They're really cool, but this one of these ones coming up is super legit.
I really liked the that crazy virus, and how they and how it infects the biomass.
Uh huh. Oh,
See how I talk about this without giving spoilers?
to be fair, season 1 of The Expanse is a bit old, but yes, it's any of you out there who haven't seen it, it's on Amazon Prime. It's free right now. Man, catch up.
Oh,
Attack of the
Watch it.
Killer Tomatoes. Who hasn't seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? I saw that when I was like 16.
I've seen that and the cartoon.
Oh God, I remember the cartoon. I didn't actually
I'm sorry.
watch it, but
Oh,
I
I watched
remember seeing it, if that makes sense.
Well, I watched. I used to watch all the cartoons, but yeah, it's not good. Yes, Baynan, she did, but we're trying not to spoil things.
Shush. Yeah, see, I was being intentionally vague, Banian.
So there you go. Expanse still has Kathy's seal of approval. She she gives it 0 space viruses.
0 space viruses.
Gonzo, what you gonna talk about for number 2?
I will talk about Star Trek Discovery, since that was coming out of the Orville. Watch the newest episode. They introduced Spock in this one, because that was kind of one of the big things that they're doing. Because I had to describe to somebody that this season or this series is definitely prequel. Is the best way to put it. It's before Spock and Kirk and before Enterprise. Before they take control of the Enterprise. So they introduced Kirk. More story building. Not going to spoil it, of course, because it just came out last week. It's still really, really good. I'm really liking it. I can't wait for the next episode. It's already got renewed for another season, so I'm very happy.
Are they talking about a spin-off series too?
I don't know. Are they?
I thought Michelle Yeoh was going to get her own spin-off series.
She might. I don't know. But overall, it was...
I mean, maybe I'm crazy for that. I'm crazy for other things.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not a big Star Trek fan, but this is some really good sci-fi. The characters are very well liked. I've got my favorites. Can't wait to see them on screen. Some of them want to die in a fire just because I don't like the character. Because
Now, is
they're
it die in a
evil.
fire or die as slowly as possible in a fire?
Either way, just because they're shitty, their characters are just not bad acting or bad writing. It's just this character's a dick, I can't
So
wait till they catch the bullet to the face or phaser to the
like the
face.
Expanse.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that fucker, the
Yeah.
slowest fire ever created.
Hmm.
Type thing. But I mean, it's been really, really good. There's been a lot of cool stuff happening. Cool new tech, cool new things going on. I'm kind of curious how they're going to end this season because the last season they went through 3 different captains on one ship. So, how many different captains were we going to get on this one is going to be interesting. Or if they're going to keep this thing going with this one captain, because eventually this captain does die. If they keep with the current history and timeline, but they don't elaborate too much about it. So, I've got my guess that the current starship will disappear and jump into the future, in my opinion. Because it's already done some few things like that in the past. I have a weird suspicion that that's what's going to happen is at one point in the story, the starship is going to get lost in the future.
Oh.
Would you say it's going to get lost in space?
Space. I was waiting for that. I just have a feeling that that's something that might happen just because of the way the story's going. But I'm really, really liking it. I really like the atmosphere. I like the characters. I like the sets. The sets are really cool. It's hard to look at these sets and go, this is a prequel because, of course, it's modern day, technology with everything. And so everything doesn't look, all that washed out and, cheesy like the original Star Trek was.
Which is why they need to get that Picard series out, because they need to continue the timeline. They need to stop doing prequels and start going forward.
Yeah. And like I said,
You tell better stories.
I wouldn't be surprised if Discovery goes into the future and they get trapped in the future because of something and they just can't get back. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. But I really like it. So
Excellent.
Definitely 0 space harpies for me.
Sounds awesome. Well, my next one, we had movie day with Alex and Anna, and Alex expressed interest in rewatching Raiders of the Lost Ark because he has not seen it in many, 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 many years. So we always do a pair with Alex and Anna. We always do a good movie and a bad movie. This was a little more difficult because he has seen and vetoed some of the bad pairs to go with Raiders of the Lost Ark, but let's start with Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, just to get out of the way, if anyone thinks I'm giving this anything less than 0 space herpes, I'm also going to rate this 5 out of 5 Casablancas.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's just a good
Agreed.
classic.
Let's get this out of here. It is a classic. It is what you compare every movie of this genre to.
Yeah.
Yep.
All of them. It's not perfect. There are a couple of things here or there that are, but you can forgive every single one of them because it is a good time. It is paced very well. It doesn't exposition doesn't get in the way. It's actually told generally at the right moments, the right way. The characters all have great interactions with each other, even the bad guy Balak. It's just really good. The action's solid. It's a lot of two-fisted, fisticuffs, old school, not a lot of martial arts. A little bit of gunplay, nothing too crazy because it is still pre-World War II. So you do have, some machine guns and stuff, but it's not like prevalent like it would be in modern action movies. And, Indiana Jones is sort of the thinking man's tough guy. Because, end of the day, he is a scientist. He does not react to things like the standard tough guy. People start talking crap to him. He is not going to care. That's not his thing. He's just there to do it. And this is one of those movies where they say that it would have been better if the hero hadn't actually interfered. To which I actually disagree because the whole premise of the movie is he's after the fucking Lost Ark himself. He wants the Ark of the Covenant. That is his goal, to get it from the museum. So, yeah, sure, things would have been fine without him, except for the fact that we end up with it, and it gets to sit in a warehouse being studied by top men. So, yeah, it's great. The soundtrack. So, at this point, Williams had done Jaws, Star Wars, Empire, and he was great, top tier. This soundtrack, I feel, cemented him as the master because it is the perfect soundtrack for the movie. The Indiana Jones theme is great.
Oh yeah.
It hits all the right notes. It's just awesome. The whole movie is awesome. For Christ's sakes, I owned it on VHS. I own it on DVD. I will probably buy a Blu-ray of it eventually, especially if it comes with like the Young Indiana Jones Adventures. Those were actually pretty good. But we'll have to see what I can find. And bonus points if it doesn't come with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because that movie is easily the worst of the group.
Oh yeah.
But there you go. Zero Space Herpes. 5 out of 5 Casablancas. Kathy, you want to talk about Big Mouth a little bit, or are you good?
I will. I'll just say that Raiders of the Lost Ark is, in fact, my favorite movie of all time. So, yeah.
I can't argue with that. There's no arguing.
So yeah, we were at our friend's house last night, and they're like, "Hey, have you guys seen that show Big Mouth, the Netflix cartoon?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no." Gonzo talked about it and seemed to really like it. We don't always agree on what we like or don't like, but so they put it on, and I was bawling. It was so funny. It was, and I was saying to John in our pre ramble, if I had teenagers, I would absolutely let them watch that as kind of like a sex ed thing.
Yes.
It's so real. I mean, all these crazy things that happen to these kids that they go through and that your body's going through. We all know it. We've all seen it. And if we didn't see it, we know somebody who saw it or did it or experienced it. And, but the way that they bring it to you is it's just so funny. You've got the hormone monster, and it's like an actual monster that talks to the kid and convinces them to just do the things that hormones tend to make happen.
Oh yeah.
It's I would recommend it. I would
Fair
recommend it.
It's
I might rate it with a 1 or 2 space herpes only because, well, I don't know, it's a cartoon. But it made me laugh my ass off. It's not the best thing I've ever seen ever, but totally worth it. And yeah, if you got kids that are preteen, teen, and you don't care if they hear offensive curse words,
that's taking it lightly.
Well, yeah, offensive curse words. Yeah. I mean, obviously, preview things before you let your kids watch them so you can make that decision, but yeah.
Fair enough. Gonzo, what's your next one?
I'm going to go with Behind the Curve. Behind the Curve is a documentary on Netflix about flat earthers. And it is quite hilarious. Some of the things that they say and how they feel. But the best part, and I'm just going to it's fun to watch as a documentary to see what these people actually think and what they really, really think. But the best part of the whole thing is watching them prove themselves wrong. They did an experiment to see if the Earth was round, and the experiment failed, and it did prove that the Earth was round. Or they did an experiment to prove that the Earth was flat. They did the experiment, and it proved that the Earth was round. So they did another experiment, and that proved that the Earth was round. So every time they did an experiment, they proved that the Earth was round. So they're still looking for proof that the Earth isn't round. That the Earth isn't a globe. But it's so hilarious.
A special kind of denialist.
Yes. They
No,
did their own
there's a word
scientific.
for people like this, Kathy. It's called retarded.
Yeah.
I would never use that word. There
Oh,
are
no. These are the people that word's invented for. You don't use that word for people who are disabled or MS or any of that. None of that stuff. No, those guys are fun. Think about what they're doing, what they have. Those people are amazing. They're advanced. Retard is people who are just who should be better than that and are not because there's
They
something wrong with them.
they
They
don't have two
constantly
brain
have a
cells
problem.
rubbed together.
no. It was just hilarious
Oh,
because they kept on going. Oh well, this experiment didn't work the way we wanted to, so we're going to try a different experiment to prove that the Earth is flat. And every experiment that they did proved that the Earth was round and it was a globe. And I was just dying so much. I was laughing so hard through it. If you want a good chuckle and a good laugh to prove that people are stupid, you should watch this. But it's pretty bad. So probably like 2 space herpes out of 5.
wow.
We got to hurry up because I got one big one that I have to talk about really, really bad.
Well,
Well,
I'm done, so
the second part of our pair, we wanted to do National Treasure, but they've seen it and they hate Nick Cage. Then I wanted to do The Mummy, but they've seen it and Alex hates Brendan Fraser.
that's so sad. I love the Mummy.
I
It-
know.
it- so my last choices were the old King Solomon's Mines with Richard Chamberlain, which did not arrive in time. It is still on the way from eBay. So we were stuck watching Firewalker with
Oh.
Chuck Norris and Lou Gossett Jr.
Oh dear.
and Melody Anderson and Sonny Langham, who played the Indian in Predator. And fuck, this was not good. Not good at all.
And on a scale of Atlantic Rim to Casablanca,
Oh, it is way closer to Atlantic Rim, but it is not the worst movie I've seen this year. That trophy still gets awarded to Beastmaster, though
Aw.
it's in the ring with Beastmaster. Beastmaster's just able to take it out.
I mean, I'm not saying Beastmaster is a good movie. I'm just saying I think it's fun.
So the good parts of Firewalker, there's a couple scenes without Chuck Norris where Lou Gossett Jr. and Melody Anderson are having conversations that are interesting. You know, some sort of heartfelt stuff. I'm like, okay, that's a good part of this movie. And there are some fight scenes where they let Chuck Norris beat people up, which is great. The rest of the movie is just not good.
No.
The jokes are groan-worthy. Some of the fights are not good. It has some questionable content. It's racist and misogynistic at the same time. But you have to kind of expect that from an 80s movie from Glenn Galobras, a.k.a. Canon Films, the badge of quality. Yeah, it's not good. I would avoid it. Like, if you guys are going to get drunk and watch some movies and you want something in this sort of genre, it's worth a watch. It's not, like, offensive. I mean, it is offensive, but it's not, like, truly offensive. It's just not good.
Yeah.
There are a million better movies to watch. It's just watching one of those. It's going to get... I'm going to give it 4 Space Herpes, which is the same as Beastmaster, because it's in the ring with Beastmaster for worst movie this year. And still a full Space Herpes above freaking Atlantic Rim. So there's room for an improvement there. Gonzo, what's this big movie you got to talk about?
Okay, so I didn't get to see it in the theaters, and I was upset because I've been dying to see it. I just got too busy, didn't have enough time, and so it came out digitally, and it came out, and I pretty much shut down my entire life to watch it because I've been dying to, and that was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm going to say right now, this is one of my top 5 movies of all time.
Oh,
This movie was everything and more that I would expect from a Spider-Man movie and from a good superhero movie.
and for a good comic book style movie, because it has very comic
Yes.
tropes and thoughts and ideas, and they translate to the big screen fine.
Oh, I cried at least twice during the movie.
Stanley.
Well, I shouldn't have watched the tribute to Stan Lee after it because I bought the digital version. It came with a bunch of other stuff, and I just bawled like a little baby because it was so touching.
Stanley cameo in the movie.
It is a good one too, and it was really good. That one made me tear up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it yet because it just came out digitally, so I know people are waiting for it.
It's actually in the theaters for like a week or two because it won an Oscar. So.
Yes. It was just so freaking good. I want more. I want a Miles in that style. I want a Miles Spider-Man movie in that style where it's just Miles. I could deal with that everybody else. Don't get me wrong. They were great. Everything was good and stuff. But I want a Miles Spider-Man in that style, and I want it yesterday.
What I want them to do, just to fill the theaters, is do an hour. We don't have to like oversay a story. Do like an hour's Miles story and like an hour with one of the others story. By an hour. That way you can easily make two things. You can have it as a movie, and you keep sort of the theme of Into the Spider-Verse going through it.
Yeah, I mean you can. I mean there is a way that you can keep it going. It's already been said. There was a little spoiler at the end. For a sequel, which I'm more than yes for. It was just so good. Great writing, great music, great everything. It was.
Question: did you ever think they would make Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, make it into a movie and not seem absolutely the stupidest thing ever?
No, it was really good. He's my least favorite of all the Spider because it's just a comedy thing. But everything was really, really good. It was really neat to watch.
Spider-Man.
Noir Spider-Man was really good. There's so much done in this movie. Mm-hmm. Technically, a friend of mine, Emily, I think it was Emily, posted a video about how they filmed it and why they did it. And when Miles is learning his powers, they shot him at a slower type frame rate. Like his actions were 2 frames, while the regular Spider-Man was an action a frame. His movement was every frame. And so there was like the stutter and the way they filmed it and all this really cool stuff to the movie that just made it unbelievably incredible. I'm going to watch it again. I own it digitally so I can take it wherever I want. This movie it hits you in the feels. You get up and shout. You are like, yes, this is what Spider-Man is about. This is what a Spider-Man movie is about. Even, breaking all the Spider-Verse things where you have all the different Spider-Men and everything. It was still amazing. It was solid balls good.
And that is part of the next movie day with Alex and Anna. Is going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because they haven't seen it. And actually, as a change, they're going to do a bad movie I haven't seen, Ninja Batman.
So my rating for Into the Spider-Verse, this one is the penicillin shot to space herpes.
Wow.
This one cures all space herpes. This movie, you can't go wrong with it. It's just amazingly awesome. If you don't have it, go get it. Watch it because it is balls good.
That was last one. I'm like, why don't I have it on my list? Because I watched it last year in the theater.
Yes, you watched it in the theater. I do have 2 more, but we'll hold those off till next because it is technically 8:33, and that is the end of our show. We are done with this one. Guys, we are possibly going to have a really cool episode next week. We are just trying to set something up. Pay attention to our Facebook page. Watch everything that's going on there. You'll see some new stuff come up. We got things going left and right, so hopefully you'll see some really cool stuff. So for More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
Good.
And this has been episode 70.
Oh, yeah, episode 70. Yeah, we forgot that at the very beginning, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
And an extra special thanks to all our sponsors again. Muse on Minis, Mechanica Studios, and of course Harky Dan at Tectonic Craft Studios.
Yep.
You regret not seeing it in the theater, huh, Gonzo?
Yes.